Okay. All right. Okay, welcome everybody. Is there any problems that we can see before I get started? Can y'all see me and everything? Hear me? Okay, looks like I have a chat. Yes, Sarah says yes. Okay, great. Well, I wanted to start today. I'll just sit up here a little bit closer with talking about our mantra. And I think in this time, it could be really helpful to think of what sort of mantra we could have for ourselves. So a mantra it can be a variety of things. It can be anything from a short phrase to a word to even a sound, but it's something that we want to carry throughout the season. I know that for myself, I've carried different types of mantras in different parts of my life, but some mantras that I've used before have been things like I choose peace, or there is light, or I am loved. Anything that you think could be useful for yourself in this season. So we're going to spend a little bit of a time in a meditation thinking about what our mantra is, and then using that throughout today's practice, and hopefully being able to use that mantra not only in this practice on our mats, but in the practice of our daily living. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seat, sitting up nice and tall, really settling into the space, taking some deep breaths, closing your eyes if that feels okay. And as we're all separating in different places today, see if you can find some connection. So root yourself down in the floor underneath you. You can even place your fingertips on the floor. Notice that support there. Elongating through the spine, and then letting the breath become gentle and easy. And then asking yourself what sort of mantra you'd like to hold in this season. Our mantras can be very personal and intimate, so you don't have to share your mantra with anyone. Finding that word, I choose peace, there is light, I am loved, an image or even a sound that speaks to you today. Once you've named that mantra, do your best to really absorb it and keep repeating it in your mind. Knowing that nobody can take this mantra from you, and that this is a truth that you hold, that no situation can destroy. And when you're ready, we're going to start to bring some movements into the body. You can bow the head, drop the chin towards the chest, stretch through the back side of the neck, and then slowly left ear towards the left shoulder, Stretching through the right side of the neck. Exhale down through center. Inhale, right ear towards right shoulder. Exhale down through center. And then just back and forth a few times. Take your time. And when you're ready, you can come back to a neutral position or take a big inhale. Let's lift the arms overhead, stretch long and tall. And on your exhale, right hand behind the back and left hand to that right knee, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale over towards the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale, switch the cross of the legs, hinge from the hips, come forward and down. Reach out as long as you can, lengthen the spine. And then fingertips to the floor, forehead towards the floor. Press the hips back as you walk those hands forward. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And then you're going to slowly walk your hands back up. You're going to roll over onto your hands and knees. We're coming into a tabletop position. So in tabletop, we just want to bring our wrists directly underneath the shoulders and our knees underneath the hips. We're going to float through a few rounds of cat-cow. So on the inhale, you're going to drop the belly down, lift the tailbone up, and then look up towards the ceiling or the sky. Exhale, round the spine, squeeze the core, draw the belly button in towards the spine and drop the head. Inhale, look up. And exhale, round. Just flow back and forth between these 2 postures at your own pace. And if you want, you can add a few extra movements. You can look over side to side, looking over the shoulders. You can sink the hips back towards the heels. Anything that feels right. Then after you've done a few rounds, all we're going to do is begin to walk those hands forward, coming into puppy pose. So draw the hands forward, bring the chest towards the floor, and either the forehead or the chin towards the floor. We're trying to open up to the front side body. And then when you're ready, slowly walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. And all we're going to do from here is curl the toes, lift the hips for our first downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, really focusing on decreasing that angle between the tops of the thighs and the chest. So you can just pedal out one feet and then the other to begin. Drop one heel, drop the other, maybe shake the head out. Maybe sway hips side to side. And then finding a little bit of stillness and just taking some deep breaths, coming back to that mantra, repeating that phrase, that word, or that sound inside your mind, inside your heart. And when you're ready, look to the top of the mat and slowly step the feet forward. Try as slowly as possible today, really tiptoeing your feet up, challenging your strength, your flexibility, and then releasing that upper body over the legs near the top of the mat and just swaying side to side. Feel free to keep a slight bend in the knees. That can actually be really helpful here. Inhale, we'll lift up halfway for a flat back. Gaze stays down towards the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. You're gonna take a big inhale as you lift the arms up overhead, palms touch. And if you want, you can take a slight back bend by pressing the hips forward and looking up and back behind you. And then exhale, hands to heart center. We're gonna take a big inhale, lift the arms up, and then exhale, forward facing fold. Inhale, we'll lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Bend the knees plenty here and plant the hands on the mat. And slowly step back to our first plank pose. We're gonna hold plank pose for a moment here. Really think about pressing that mat away. If you want a different position today, feel free to come to your knees. That's just a different version of plank that you're welcome to take. But wherever you're at, keeping that back nice and flat, pressing the mat away from you and keeping the core really tight. Good, keep breathing. One more inhale here. One more exhale. And then we're gonna come down for a very slow chaturanga. You're gonna lean that weight forward slightly, bend at the elbows and slowly bring the chest towards the floor. Try to hover above the mat, whether you're on your knees or your feet. And then inhale, pull that chest through. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Maybe lift the legs up off the mat. And then look over one shoulder. And then look over the other. We'll come back forward, lift the hips, squeeze the core, curl over the toes, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Then as you're ready, inhale, lift that right leg up for a 3-legged dog. On your exhale, let's bend the right knee and stack the hips. So we're opening that right hip up towards the ceiling. You can stay here or you can bring some hip circles so that right knee can meet the left, and then you can swing up the leg, up and around just a few times. We'll come back to 3-legged dog on the inhale. On your exhale, look between the hands, bring the right knee in, and try to touch that right knee towards that right elbow. Good, inhale, lift back up. I know this can be challenging, but on your exhale, try the left side, right knee towards left elbow. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, right knee towards the chest, look between the hands, round the upper back, and step the right foot between the hands. Great, catch your breath if you've lost it. Ground your hands on the mat, maybe framing that right foot. If the floor feels far away, if you have blocks at home, this is a great time to utilize blocks. If you don't, I'm sure we all have some books hanging around. So you can place some books underneath your hands. You could even use a couple of cans. If you have them in your pantry, that can also be a good stabilizer. Get creative. Use what you got in your house. We're gonna drop that left knee and big inhale, sweep the arms up. This is hard because y'all can't laugh at my cruddy jokes and I can't tell if I'm being funny or not. I'm mostly not, but at least you guys sometimes laugh to make me feel better. But I'm just gonna imagine that was funny to some of you. Big inhale, reach and lengthen, look up and back. Exhale, hands through heart center. Bring that left elbow to the outside of that right knee. As you draw that elbow to the knee, bring that chest closer towards those hands. So you're looking over that right shoulder. Nice deep twist to help us cleanse out any unhelpful thoughts as we welcome those new thoughts, that new mantra in. Really ringing up the spine. Inhale back through center. Exhale, hands to the mat and straighten that right leg. Flex that right foot. Feel that length behind the back side of that extended leg. A few deep breaths here. And then we'll bend back into that right knee, framing that foot with both hands. Inhale, left knee lifts, and exhale, downward facing dog. Good, just settle back in. Notice the difference between the right and left sides. As you're ready, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, bend the knee and stack the hips. Then we can draw some big hip circles here. Left knee meets the right, swing it up and around. Our goal with this is just to help us open up the joints, bring some mobility back into the body. Inhale back to three-legged dog. Exhale, look between the hands, but we're gonna bring that left knee towards the left tricep. It's okay if you don't make contact, but try your best to. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, left knee to the right tricep, which I think is a little bit harder because we're twisting and having to hold and lift. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, look between the hands and step that left foot. Now pause here, use your blocks or whatever you have on hand if you want. Try to lengthen that chest up. So we're not collapsing on that left knee, but we're lifting and lengthening through the chest. Strong and straight line from the crown of the head all the way to the back of that right heel. 2 breaths. And then we'll release that right knee down. And we'll take a big inhale, lift all the way up. If you want, you can look up and back, opening up through the space of the heart. You can even spread those elbows apart if you want. Maybe open up through the throat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, hands to the floor and straighten that left leg, flex that left foot. Deep breaths, feeling that stretch in the hamstring, in the quad, the calf. And when you're ready, let's bend back into that left knee. Frame the left foot with both hands. Inhale, right knee lifts. And exhale, downward facing dog. Hold downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Good. And then when you're ready, look to the top of the mat, walk, step, or jump, forward facing fold. Inhale, let's lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep the arms all the way up, scooping up all that good energy. Little back bend if you like. And then hands through heart center. Inhale, let's lift and lengthen. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward facing fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. Exhale, release, plant hands, bend the knees plenty here so you can get the hands on the floor before you step the feet back. From plank pose, we'll lower through chaturanga, either on your knees or your feet. Bring the chest towards the floor. Inhale, pull the chest through, look up. Exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Now, if I ever go too fast or too slow, you're welcome to add in your own postures or poses, or just slow it down if you would prefer. Inhale, right leg lifts up, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. You can either stay here in a lower lunge position by keeping your hands on the floor, or you can lift your arms up, coming into high lunge. One thing that tends to happen sometimes in high lunge is people don't realize that that back heel is supposed to be lifted. So if it's not lifted, try to lift it up now, and then try to lower that bend in the right knee. So you're getting that right thigh as parallel to the floor as you can. Arms are overhead, shoulders stacked on top of the hips, releasing shoulders down so you're not holding tension there. Good. 2 breaths. Focusing, that's one thing that mantras help us with, is finding a good sense of focus in times of chaos. We'll bring those hands through heart center. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, same sort of spinal twist. Left elbow to the outside of that right knee. Look over the right shoulder and check in and make sure that back leg is still long and strong. Resisting that need to bend the knee, but if you must, you can drop the knee back down onto the floor. Okay? From here, look to the top of the mat, and as a little bit of a challenge, you're going to try to step that left foot to meet the right, coming into a chair twist. Trust your strength in your right leg and step forward. Good. Inhale, come through center chair pose. Lift those arms up. Try to bring the biceps right beside the ears as you sink those hips back and open up through the heart. One more inhale. Exhale, forward facing fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. Exhale, releasing. Bending the knees, planting the hands, back to plank pose. Lower through your chaturanga. Inhale through your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot between the hands. You can stay here, or if you're ready, inhale, lift the arms up. Check in with your alignment, make sure that left thigh is as close to parallel to the floor as you can make it. Right heel is lifted, shoulders stacked on top of the hips, shoulders released, but arms up overhead. Good. Keep breathing. Find that focus. Maybe find something in front of you to keep your gaze at. We're going to bring those hands to heart center. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine. And exhale, right elbow to the outside of that left knee. You're looking over the left shoulder this time. Good, a couple breaths here. And then draw that forehead, that gaze back towards that left foot. You're going to take a big step forward for a twisted chair, left side. Good. Inhale, come back through chair, lift the arms up overhead, biceps beside the ears, core tight, and then come up to stand. Good, shake out your legs a little bit if you need to. I know that's a lot of work on the legs. Big inhale, we're gonna lift our arms up overhead, and we're gonna lengthen through our side body. So grab a hold of that right wrist, feet together, and we're gonna lean over towards the left. So grabbing the right wrist with the left hand, lean over towards the left. Try to keep that heart open. Look up towards the ceiling, up and over that right arm. Good. Press both feet into the mat. Feel expansion to the rib cage. Inhale, lift and lengthen using the core. Opposite side, grab onto the left wrist and lean over to the right. Look up and over that left arm. Good. Inhale back through center. And then exhale, forward fold all the way down to the floor. Inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. Exhale, release. Bend the knees, plant the hands, plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right leg up for a three-legged dog. And on your exhale, you're going to step that right foot back between the hands. Framing that right foot as we did before, but this time rotating that back heel down so that the long edge of the foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. On an inhale, you'll lift the arms all the way up for what's called warrior two. You're going to try to make sure that right heel bisects the middle of the back foot. Again, releasing the shoulders, getting the arms parallel to the floor. You should still be able to see that right big toe if you look down. If you can't see it, you might need to just push that right knee over the side slightly so your hips open up a little bit more. Let's flip that right palm up. Inhale, reverse warrior, left hand towards that left leg. Reach up and over with that right arm, keeping that right knee bent. Inhale, back to warrior two. And then right forearm to the right thigh, reach up and over with that left arm. Feeling that stretch on the whole left side of the body. Inhale, warrior two. Reverse. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Flow back and forth here a few times. And then meet and warrior two, a little bit of a challenge here. Try to lift up that right heel. So you're gonna come up onto the ball of the right foot. If you need to walk that left foot in slightly, you can, but try to lift up that right heel. And you're looking over that right middle finger and you're gonna count for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right heel grounds down. Right leg straightens. Inhale, reach those right fingertips forward, and exhale for Trikonasana pose, triangle pose. Shoulders stack on top of each other, chest opens. Maybe the hand touches the floor, maybe it doesn't. It can rest on that right shin if you'd like. But try to look up towards that left thumb. And instead of collapsing down here, think about lifting up through that left hand. So you're creating a length to that left side body. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. You're gonna take that left foot and you're gonna step it in a few feet. We're coming into pyramid pose. Both feet are parallel to each other, but you're kind of imagining your feet are on train tracks. So right foot is on the right side and left foot is on the left side. Important thing here is that both heels are grounded down, so adjust your stance as you need to, and you can start with your hands on the floor, or you can come and bring your hands up on the thigh. You might need to start here, lengthen the spine first, and as you increase your flexibility and strength, you can slowly walk your hands down towards the floor, framing that foot, and dropping the forehead towards that right shin. Good, just take a few breaths here. This can be a pretty intense posture. I think it's pretty deceiving. It looks easy, but it's not. I think that's a lot of things in life, though, at least for me. If you want to take a twist, left hand will stay down. On your inhale, you're going to lift that right arm up towards the sky. Great job, right hand down. Step that left foot to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Sweep the arms all the way up. Take that little back bend if you'd like. And then hands through heart center. Okay, before we do the other side, just press your hands against the center of the chest. Check in with yourself. Notice how you feel. Are you having helpful thoughts, unhelpful thoughts? Try not to judge, but just notice. And when you're ready, we'll start again. Inhale, let's lift those arms up. Exhale, forward facing fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, plant the hands, and either step or jump back to that plank pose once again. Lower either on your knees or your feet, chaturanga. Inhaling to your back bend. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, use the strength of the core to step that left foot between the hands. If you have trouble with that action, it's no worries. It takes a long time to get there. Just use your hands to bring that foot to the top of the mat. When you're ready, we're rotating that right heel down so it's parallel to the short edge of the mat. And we're going to inhale, come all the way up, warrior two. Adjust your stance as you need. Nice deep bend in the left knee. You can see that left big toe, shoulders released and open, and ideally looking over that left middle finger. Deep breaths. And cultivate a lot of strength in just being still, which we're all being challenged to learn right now. Left palm flips up, inhale, reverse warrior. Right arm can meet the right leg. Just try not to put any pressure on that knee. Back to warrior two. And then the left forearm to that left thigh, lightly resting there, and mostly doing the reaching with that right arm, stretching through that right side body. Good, back to warrior two. Reverse. And we're just flowing a few times here. Really take your time absorbing those side body stretches. And when you're ready, we'll meet in warrior two. You might need to walk that right heel in just a little bit if you had a really deep stance, because we're going to try to lift up that left heel. So coming up onto the ball of the left foot. Good, deeply breathe. We're counting for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll release that left heel down. We'll straighten the left leg. Inhale, reach forward with those left fingertips, and then exhale for triangle pose. Think about stacking the shoulders on top of each other, and instead of bearing down in that left hand, think about reaching up and out through the right, creating a length on that right side body. Great, inhale, we'll lift all the way up. Exhale, we're gonna cartwheel the hands down, and we're gonna walk that right foot in a couple of feet. So we're coming into pyramid pose on this side. So just as the other side, you're imagining you're standing on 2 sides of a train track. So right foot on right side, left foot on the other. Both heels grounded down. That's really important. If you need to, you can come up to stand first. I often like to do that actually. And I like to place my hands on my hips. Inhale and lengthen the spine. And then using the hands on the hips to exhale, hinge from that place and come forward and down. And then you can bring the hands to your blocks or to books or hands to the floor, even dropping the forehead towards that left shin. Deeply breathing. Not letting the uncomfortable situation take away from your breath. Maybe even seeing if you can find a sense of gratitude while you're here in this stretch. If you want to take the twist, right hand stays down, and you'll inhale, lift the left arm up. And then slowly left hand comes down. Step that right foot to meet the left, forward facing fold, shake it out. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweep all the way up. Palms touch if you want to take that little back bend. And then hands to your heart center. Great job, everyone. We're going to do just a couple of balancing postures standing, and then we're going to make it onto our mats for a little bit of core work, a little bit of seated stretches, and then we'll end with a final meditation in Shavasana. So for today, I think it'd be nice to practice tree pose. So just bring your feet directly underneath your hip bones, ground the heels down. You can lift all 10 toes up off the floor if you're able. And then see if you can imagine, or not even imagine, see if you can ground one toe down at a time. So firmly planting those down. Lift the kneecaps up towards the sky. And inhale the shoulders up, roll them back, and palms face open. And you might just want to stay here. This is what's called a mountain pose or Samastiki pose. So you can stay here, practice this good posture, practice a strong stance, or if you want to come into tree, what we'll do is we're going to shift our weight into that left leg to begin. And we'll just bring that right foot in a right kickstand position. If you feel comfortable there and you want to explore some more, you can bring that right foot to the inside of the right calf. Or you can even try to take a hold of that right foot and bring it on the inner side of that left thigh. You're welcome to hold that foot if you need that support, or you can bring your hands to heart center. And then we're just pausing here. I love balancing postures because they cause us to take a break from the outside and come back to the inside. It's hard to think about other stuff when you're just focusing on standing up on one leg. It can be kind of a nice break sometimes. If you find yourself practicing tree a lot and this is pretty easy for you, you can challenge yourself by extending your arms up overhead, bringing them behind your back, or even try closing your eyes. And 2 more breaths, rooting down, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then slowly, we're trying to come out of this posture the same way we came in it. So if your right leg is lifted, gently drag it down your left. And you can bring both feet back to the floor. Good, adjust your stance as you need to. We're coming into the opposite side now. So we're gonna bring the weight into that right leg. You'll just shift your weight over to that side. You're gonna bring that foot at a kickstand position, the inside of that right calf. Or you can bring it to the inner side of that right thigh. If you're working on keeping that foot and that thigh engagement, think about pressing both the thigh and the foot together at the same time. So it's from both directions. Good. And then find whatever hand variation you'd like. You can also look up towards the ceiling. If you're not ready to close your eyes, that can be a next step. Or you can branch out with your arms in your tree. Sometimes I practice swaying side to side, challenging my core a little bit more. Anything you like. Good, 1 more breath. And then we'll just slowly bring that left leg all the way down. Shaking both legs out and finding a seat on your mat. Good, so go ahead and come all the way down, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna extend that left leg out long, but we're gonna bring the right knee in towards the chest. You're gonna take that right hand and make a peace sign. You can try to grab those peace fingers around the right big toe. And what you're gonna do here is try to keep that length through the spine, so you're having to engage the core here, belly button towards the spine, and just lift up that right foot. Good. And pull that right knee in towards the chest as you keep lengthening through the crown of the head, flexing that left foot on the mat as well. So left leg strong, core tight, lengthening through the spine. Great, now what you're going to do is take your left hand, make a peace sign, and you're going to switch the peace fingers to the left hand around, with the left hand around the right big toe now. And if you want, you'll take that right hand behind the back and just look towards the right hand for a little bit of a twist. If you have the flexibility, you can straighten the right leg. Good, one more breath. And then we'll bend that right knee back in. Place it all the way down on the mat. We're going to try the opposite side. So right leg out long. Bring that left knee in towards the chest. Left peace fingers around that left big toe. If you need some extra support, you can always bring the right hand behind the back. But lift that left leg up. Then bring the knee in closer towards that left shoulder. Lengthen the spine. Keep that right leg strong and active on the mat. And then from here, we'll take those right peace fingers around that left foot, and we can take that left hand behind the back and look towards the left thumb. If that's too much, just bring the left hand behind the back as a sense of support. Maybe you can straighten that left leg. And then slowly come back through center. Release both legs. Bring the feet, the soles of the feet together. Knees gently fall apart. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, we're just going to take a slight forward bend, hinging from the hips. You can round the spine for today if you'd like. Gentle grab around the feet. Try to bring the forehead closer to the floor in front of you. And very slowly inhale, come back through center. Extend that right leg out long, left foot, left sole of the foot to the inside of that right thigh. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, turn towards that right leg, forward fold. Maybe forehead to the right knee. If you want to take this into a side body stretch, you can keep that right hand on that right leg and just lift the left arm up and over. And it's okay if you can't reach the foot, just reach whatever part of the leg you can. And inhale, slowly come back up. We'll switch sides here. Right sole of the foot to the inside of that left thigh. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, turn and forward fold. Maybe you reach the calf, maybe you reach the ankle. If you have the grip on the foot, that's great too. If you want to make this into a side body stretch, reach that right arm up and over, opening the chest towards the side. And then slowly lifting all the way back up. This time extending both legs out long on your mat, both arms out long. Using that core, we're going to lower down one vertebrae at a time. And really the slower the better here. Try to keep your heels grounded on the mat. And then once the back of the head touches the mat, draw the knees in towards the chest. We're going to take a quick spinal twist here. Pull down the knees towards the chest, arms out to either side. And we'll let the knees fall over to the right side, and we'll look over that left shoulder. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, let the knees fall over to the left and look over that right shoulder. Inhale, come back through center. If there's any other poses or postures that you feel like you need to do before we come into Shavasana, feel free to take those now. Otherwise, you're going to extend your legs out nice and long. For traditional Shavasana, legs are out long and arms are out beside the body, palms facing up and eyes gently closed. Our whole practice was really leading up to this moment in our meditation, getting us to that place where we're able to absorb that mantra that we set. Feel the support of the mat underneath your back, the earth that is there and giving so much of our time. If you find that your mind is wandering or trying to pull you out of the space of meditation, do your best to either come back to your breath or perhaps just try repeating that phrase or that word or that sound that you chose at the beginning of class. We'll stay here for a few moments of silence, and then we'll end our class together. As you're ready, starting to bring your awareness back into your surroundings. Maybe making the inhales and exhales a little bit more full. Wiggling around the fingers and the toes. Rolling around the ankles and the wrists. With your next inhale, maybe reach your arms up overhead, stretch long and tall if you're waking up from a really good night's rest. And then you can roll over to one side using the bottom arm as a base, curling up into a little ball, pausing there. Taking a moment to reflect upon your practice, to be grateful, and to remind yourself that you have the capacity to take your mantra into your everyday living, to each and every day. And then as you're ready, come back to find that comfortable seat that we started with, sitting up nice and tall, keeping those eyes closed or just closing them again whenever you get there. To seal our time with each other, we'll take one more deep breath. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, allowing the palms to touch. And on your exhale, lowering the hands through the center, resting them above the forehead as both a symbol and reminder for us to have kind thoughts. Bringing the hands over the mouth, a reminder to use gentle words. And then letting the hands rest at the center of the chest, a reminder to always move with truthfulness and purity. The light within me sees the light within each of you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a blast, and I will be here again on Friday for another live session for Zoom, but I'm gonna end the recording now. But if you guys have any questions for me or anything, I can stay on for a couple minutes to make sure that the rest of these practices with each other for the rest of the year go smoothly. So let me see if I can stop this.